Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show, guys. Trump said he is done with these Democrats. He's done. There was huge disrespectful actions that happened in Trump's huge speech to the world. Guys, it wasn't just to the United States or to Congress. It was to the world. And now Trump and Johnson are moving to now censor Democrats across the board that were involved in last night's disrespectful, all the things having to do with the outburst, Al Green. The House is already teeing up the final vote to censor the first one, Al Green. And they said many more are coming. They said, Trump said, they knelt for George Floyd, for BLM, but yet they couldn't stand up for the little boy with cancer who survived cancer, or the victims from the Butler assassination attempt. Trump said they are disgraceful and all of America saw it, and now they need to face consequences. This is 100% so disrespectful to all the families, to all the surviving families, and it is 100% time that they be held accountable. On top of that, was hilarious, guys. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, was actually caught on a hot mic talking about Biden's addresses to the nation, which we'll show you in a moment. But today, Trump has given the final warning to Hamas over the release of the hostages. They were still keeping hostages. They were still keeping bodies. And Trump said, this is it. He's not going to ask again. We also had where sanctuary city mayors were questioned before Congress today, and it was brutal. Guys, I am so happy to show you what I'm going to be showing you in a moment, because you finally see these mayors be given just the cold slap to the face of, this is what America wants, and you have disgraced America. You use taxpayer dollars to literally step over Americans to give to illegals, and it's over. DOJ, there were referrals. Now, the DOJ, to the DOJ, for these mayors, guys, these mayors that have stepped over Americans for illegals, all these mayors have been referred over to the DOJ for possible prosecution, and even some of the mayors may face jail time. The representative said, we will let the courts decide that, but you are going to face the courts over what you've done. I love it, guys. I've never seen Congress so fired up. And we also have it where China came out and said, if war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we are ready to fight till the end. So a ton of breaking news that's happening right now, guys. I am so excited about today's show. I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching, to all of our subscribers. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Let me take care of you every day with the top news. And I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. And if you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. We are so grateful for your support and helping us give back to charity, guys. We have literally given over $25,000 on this channel to charity and partnering with you. Also, if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, guys, it really helps out so much. You are our sponsors. It is getting real, guys. The disgracefulness that happened, this is just the beginning. Check this out.
All the Democrats had to do last night was show up. You don't have to clap for everything. No one expects you to. I don't expect you to clap for tax cuts and things like that. I know you don't like that stuff. But when you're talking about deadly, literally deadly, serious situations like Lake and Riley, you know, you get up and you're solemn. And when you find out something's being done about that, you acknowledge it. A 13-year-old with brain cancer. Cancer is something I'm all too familiar with. You ignore it when people get up and give the young man a round of applause. I mean, really? Al Green getting up. We'll show you more of this. Al Green get up screaming like Scrooge McDuck with the cane. Do you guys even hear what he was saying? I mean, if you're going to scream, here's a little hint. If you don't have a microphone, nobody hears you. All everybody saw, pretend this was Al Green's cane, was, here's what they saw last night. All they heard was Charlie Brown's teacher shaking a stick at people. You really believe this is the image you want? Even Dick Durbin, longtime liberal Democrat, Dick Durbin on the Senate side, he was like, well, I wouldn't have done it that way. Of course you wouldn't. It looked terrible. And the contrast of that, and then Donald Trump projecting strength up there and pointing out who his political opponents have made a martyr out of him, was imagery I'll never forget. One of the best speeches he's ever made, reviewed overwhelmingly positive by the public. Receipts incoming, in case you think I'm making it up. Let's play this one first. Here's one, we're going to cover the highlights of the night. Here's Donald Trump talking about weaponized justice going after him and how it completely, 100% backfired. And newsflash, he's correct. Check this out.
We've ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good.
Ooh. How did that work out? Well, in an electoral college landslide, folks, there's no disputing the fact that this was an electoral college landslide. You can stick to your talking points all you want. Oh, there's no mandate. He only won the popular vote by X amount of votes. In a polarized country where large, big cities in New York, California, Chicago, New York, LA, Chicago, and San Francisco move a lot of the popular vote in one direction, that's not an effective argument to make. You're losing. You're losing because you're not listening to Carville. Don't just stand there, do nothing. Really. The line of the night, of course, was this. The border was a big issue. The borders turned chaotic. The open border has resulted in a fentanyl crisis, a child sex trafficking crisis, a logistics crisis, an illegal immigration crisis, a gang crisis, a public safety crisis. The open border under Biden was a disaster. There is no question this probably sunk the Democrats along with the economy. So you would think again that the Democrats would get up and at least applaud some measures being taken to secure the border because it's almost a universally popular issue right now. Nope. And Donald Trump took the perfect opportunity to tell you what I was telling you the entire time. The Immigration and Nationality Act allowed the president, whether it was Biden or Donald Trump, to shut the border to classes of illegal migrants for any reason, for any amount of time. Look it up. Joe Biden just didn't want to do it. And Donald Trump, in the line of the night, made sure he pointed that out. Whoever wrote this in the speech, I don't know who wrote this, Stephen Miller or one of the other guys. Oh, my gosh. You're right. This may be a Trump improv moment. This was the line of the night. Check this out.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
And which one did Donald Trump have last night? Sound bites or snapshots?
Hey.
Trick question. He had both. I'm messing with you. Imagine this snapshot of Al Green screaming with the cane. No one can hear him. The Senate, the House Sergeant at Arms, they had to remove him while he's screaming Scrooge McDuck style, while Donald Trump's at the podium with the smirk, and J.D. Vance is giving him the, I don't really care, Margaret side eye. Do you have this? Yeah, you know what? We got to play this. I didn't really intend on playing this, but it's perfect. Okay, you got this. You got the soundbite of the night. There were tons of them, but that was definitely numero uno. This is for the snapshot. This is all people are going to remember on the snapshot side. Check it out.
Take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat.
Get him out of
Finding
here.
that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair.
Folks, JD gives them the old heave-ho thumb. Snapshots and sound bites. You guys listen, you all are the most amazing, fantastic audience because you guys learn so quick. I was a quick learner too. I absorbed everything with politics really fast. That's why we went from one career to the other and moved right away. Snapshots and sound bites. Look at this. Look at this. Man, did you catch that at the perfect time? Mike Johnson's looking like, I can't believe I got to deal with these knuckleheads. Trump is smiling like, man, you guys just gave me a snapshot gift because he knows it. And JD's giving him the old President Trump highlighted this last night as well. This is important because once you start talking about big global pictures of leadership, you want to make sure that American citizens who are responding to the president feel like they're responding to his policies by saying, yes, I think we are headed in this direction rather than the wrong one that way. This was smart for him to highlight this. Check this out. V15.
Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction then the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever.
Guys, I love it. And look, our boy Tom Homan. Guys, if you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, it really does help out so much. It is about dang time. All I can say is that the House is holding these people accountable. The people that protested at the speech, they had the stupid paddles. They were disrespectful the entire time. Al Green stood up, wouldn't even sit down. And now they're moving to censor him. And guess what? We got enough votes, everybody. And this is the thing. He's going to be the first of many. Trump said he's done with this. The worst thing about this, guys, is what I'm about to show you next, because you can't make this up. This is how the Democrats operate. They couldn't stand up for this little boy on the left who literally fought cancer, survived. They sat down on him, but yet they knelt for this guy. Now, regardless of what you think of him, guess what? He had a criminal past. He wasn't a really positive contributor to society, but they couldn't even stand up for the little boy who fought cancer. That's what the Democrats represent, and everybody saw it last night. A full disgrace. This is even another one, guys. Look, this is another picture that somebody put. Democrats kneeled and eulogized and cried for a violent criminal who died during his arrest, but they refused to stand for Laken Riley. This was what they looked like whenever they talked about the Laken Riley Act. You can't make this stuff up, and people are tired of it. That's common sense, guys. Again, you cannot deny 76% approved of what Trump's speech was. That's the facts. Check this out. Because I'm telling you what, we got a whole ordeal that we're dealing with the Supreme Court, but we're going to bring the facts. We're going to bring the receipts so that you know exactly what is going on. Check this out.
Break it down for our audience. Why is this ruling big, and is this going to impact the real deal about actually making cuts to the federal budget, sir?
I think this ruling, this 5-4 ruling last night, where the Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett joined the three liberals, I don't think it was a monumental shift. I think it showed that Justice Barrett and the Chief Justice exhibited cowardice, because it is very clear that the President of the United States, under Article 2 of our Constitution, has the executive power, right? And President Trump campaigned on the facts that he's going to hire Elon Musk, set up the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, and root out waste, fraud, and abuse. And that is President Trump's not only constitutional power, it's his constitutional duty under Article 2 of the Constitution, because he has to take care that our laws are faithfully executed. And that includes making sure.
But hang on, slow down. We've talked about this for months. You identified the 2 weak links in the chain months ago. You actually said President Trump, and even I took your guidance, instead of being a firebrand, said, hey, if one of these federal judges does something, you got to comply. Just don't blow it off, because you'll freak out ACB and Roberts will go the other way. So you identified it early on. But aren't they saying that, hey, look, I hear everything you're talking about, Mike, and Elon's great and everything like that, but I'm going to go to Article 1. And if you guys got a problem with spending, if you want to cut budgets, it's called the appropriations process. And that's very specific. That's in the House, right? And then somehow in a conference, they got to work it out. And then you either veto the whole bill or you get your people involved and you negotiate. We're not going to let you make up a new rule, impoundment. We're not going to let you make up a new rule, rescission, and after the fact, essentially get what is basically a line item veto. Is that not what they're indicating, that they're just not going to get in the middle of this mess, sir?
I don't know if I would read that much into it. I think this was a very chiefy order last night, where the chief wanted to split the baby and think that he's protecting the court's legitimacy, meaning his own reputation. And he thought that by trying to give the judge another opportunity to not be so crazy in this matter, I think that I think that could have been what the chief was trying to do here, is let this Judge Ali, this radical Biden judge on the D.C. District Court, who is a dual citizen of Canada. By the way, he's still a citizen of Canada, and he's ruled that the president somehow does not have power under Article 2 of the Constitution to root out waste, fraud, and abuse, and the president somehow does not have power under the Commander-in-Chief clause to make sure that foreign aid is not going to, for example, Hamas to kill Americans abroad. But what I think is going to happen here is the Supreme Court has told this Judge Ali that he needs to be more specific in his next order, where he very specifically tells the Trump administration what they can and cannot do. And then I think what's going to happen is you're going to see the Trump Justice Department appeal this again through the process. Maybe Judge Ali will take the hint that you're not going to hold the Trump Justice Department in contempt if they can't comply with your ridiculous order within 24 hours. And I'm thinking that the Chief Justice and Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who's scared of her own shadow, is trying to diffuse this situation. And hopefully this Judge Ali will let a cooler head prevail here and not threaten to hold the Trump administration in contempt with an unreasonable deadline, right? And we'll see. What I think is going to happen, I think this is very naive on the Supreme Court's part, because I think that Chief Justice and Justice Barrett mistakenly think that this is a reasonable judge instead of a radical Marxist.
So just to make sure everybody understands it, this is still in process, right? This is going to be relitigated. We're going to see more of this. This will eventually get back up to the Supreme Court in some more organized and maybe broader context.
Yeah, if this Judge Ali and these Democrats think that the Trump administration is going to cut a $2 billion check because of this Supreme Court ruling, they're out of their minds. You're not going to see a penny dispersed from USAID after this Supreme Court ruling. This is going to go back to Judge Ali.
Wow.
It's going to go back to Judge Ali.
Oh, wow.
Judge Ali is going to have to very clearly say what the Trump administration can and can't do, and then the Trump administration will appeal. Get it.
Guys, this is getting good, guys. I love it. Thank you so much, Doreen Bryson, for the super chat. Said the Democrats' true nature had to be on full display in order for the world and our nation to witness the mentality of the dangerous left. 100%, guys. Y'all show Doreen some love in the chat. Guys, that's 100% right. You cannot, the images that we got from last night over them not standing up for any of the victims, for any of the people, for anything, no tax on Social Security, no tax on tips, none of that. They can never deny it. And guess what? Come midterms, it's going to cost them. All right, guys, so I told you that there was a hot mic. Oh, y'all showed Doreen some love in the chat. So I told you there was a hot mic moment between Speaker Mike Johnson and Vance. Listen here, guys. This is hilarious.
By the way, I think the speech is going to be great, but I don't know how you do this for 90 minutes.
The hardest thing was doing it during Biden when the speech was
Y'all see, he said, I don't know how you do this. He said, oh, and then, man, the hardest thing was doing during Biden's campaign. And then he's like, oh, crap. He put it down. Guys, I love it because you know what? You know, sometimes it happens. It's okay. We're going to be okay. But, guys, today, oh, my goodness, what you're about to, all the stuff that's happening, I am so excited about today's show because, again, too, you're getting to see the real deal, everybody. Virginia Friday, thank you so much for the super chat. Said the Dems showed their true colors last night. Please remember me in prayer. I'm very sick. Love my True Life News family. Virginia, we've got you. We be praying that you feel better. Y'all show Virginia some love in the chat, everybody. If you don't mind too, guys, clicking that thumbs up like button. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much for your support in this. Guys, check this out.
The longest ever joint address to Congress, an hour and 40 minutes long. Greatest hits reel of his first 6 weeks in office, plus a preview of the coming attractions. The commander-in-chief having fun as he taunted the Democrats who sat stone-faced and silent and worse.
To my fellow citizens, America is back. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years. Look at the Democrats in front of me. and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation, we must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Elon Musk getting a big shout out as President Trump went line by line on all of the ways the Doge crew has been chopping.
$40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
As for the Democrats, well, they had a hard time being decent. Barely 5 minutes into the speech, Representative Al Green was shouting at Trump until he got booted.
To 525 on a map that reads almost completely red.
Chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Green's Democratic colleagues picked it up from there, raising paddles with phrases like Musk steals and false. Others color coordinating pink outfits or straight up walking out while wearing T-shirts with the word resist. How dare they wear a T-shirt?
For the adversaries, is everything against common sense, which means, hey, guys, don't clap for the kid with cancer realizing his dream. That's anti-common sense, but you had to do it because, God forbid, you're on the same side as evil Orange Man. Al Green was the perfect hood ornament for this. He's a party with no room left except ugliness. And he is, you know, you couldn't find a better bad guy if you scoured all the Quentin Tarantino movies. He looks the part. He's a seething boil of a man. It's funny. He walked right over the trap door that was set for him, and Trump pushed the button. The play was, let's list all the good stuff and let the Dems be Dems. They can walk the plank or they can read the room and change with the tide. Either way, it's a win-win for Trump. They agree with him or they look like idiots because they don't. And the Dems, they chose evil by not cheering good things. If Trump had released, you know, a flock of peaceful doves, they would have tried to shoot them because they hate it. Last thing I'll say, when I was watching this, I felt like I was watching a movie, the climax of a movie where the hero wins, whether it's Rocky or Harry Potter, and they always show the bad guys. The bad guys just look terrible. And the reason why they look so bad is not that they lost and that goodness prevailed. It's the recognition that they are the bad guy in this movie. That the realization is that maybe their authentic self is really, really bad. If you had the choice to cheer for a kid with cancer and you didn't, you might want to question who you are.
Ooh. Yeah, at that point, like, how do you lose your heart and your joy for living? Like, how do you lose all compassion and just sit on your hands, Judge?
You know, I only have one message for the Democrats after last night, and that is stay the course, stay in that lane, keep it up, because the American people see you for what you are.
Boom.
You are haters. You allege that you are the party of joy and unity. You are nothing about joy and unity. You've gaslit us for the last 4 years about how everything you want is for the American people. Nothing that benefited the American people was good enough for them. Nothing, whether it was tax on tips, whether it was talking about a refuge being named for Jocelyn Ungary, who was murdered and raped viciously, whether it was about, you know, the Comparator family. Nothing touched them. They were stone-faced, cold haters. They ought to start a party, the hate party, because nothing in what they stand for benefits the American people. 80% of the American people agree with Donald Trump when it comes to immigration, when it comes to men and women's sports. 76% of Americans like the speech. Not those people. It's like when a husband and a wife, they get a divorce, right? The wife is so angry. She says, I'm going to make sure he doesn't have a dime when we're done. The only problem is the kids have nothing in the end. And that's what the Democrat Party is like. They're fighting and fighting, and in the end, the American people get nothing. And when you sit on your hands for a kid with cancer who's 13 years old, who had 13 surgeries on his brain, who gets to be what he wants to be and jumps in the arms of Sean Curran, the head of the Secret Service, who was the one who carried Trump off the stage. He jumped. He was so happy. And these people couldn't clap, but they could clap for war. They could clap for more money for Ukraine. So in the end, Donald Trump was at his pinnacle. He was entertaining. An hour and 44 minutes went by like that. And there was a sense that America is back. And the Democrats had to sit there and realize that their claim of chaos and all of these lies about Donald Trump, they have zero ammunition now. There's nothing that they can complain about anymore. He is a man of his word. He delivers on his promises, and he's got vision like no president we've seen in our lifetime.
Jesse Water.
I wish Jessica was in the car on the way to the airport this morning with me, because you would have learned a lot. I've started talking to the drivers on the way to the airport.
Like Tom Friedman? Don't be Tom Friedman.
Oh, I'm Jesse Friedman here. This guy's from Pakistan. He's a fan, so I'm like, okay. I asked him how the speech went. And he said, what Al Green did was so disrespectful. No matter who it is, you have to respect the office.
Yeah.
So he's from Pakistan, married his wife from India. Love conquers all. And they both voted for Donald Trump. And here's why. Illegal immigration. They said what they saw was when all of these people came into the country and just started getting free benefits, it stretched all the services in their county. And then he's working around the clock and paying all these taxes, and Biden's sending all this money overseas to countries he's never heard of. You look at a guy like this, drive him into the airport, you don't see Trump voter. You assume not a Trump voter. These are the people that are voting for Donald Trump, and it's not because of what he says or how he is. It's because of the issues, Jessica. And last night what the Democrats did, they basically burned the flag. They went out in front of the whole nation and knelt during the national anthem. That's how unpatriotic it was. They keep saying how unpatriotic Donald Trump is. They say he's a traitor. They turned their backs to all of these American heroes.
Guys, let me tell you that. They 100% disrespected everybody. Not just their Democratic Party, but they disrespected America. They disrespected the families there. Again, this makes no sense. You don't sit down. This is like as bad as it gets. And I promise you, this is going to be plastered. It's already plastered all over social media, all over X. They sat down for the little boy that beat cancer, 13 surgeries, but yet they knelt down for George Floyd. You know, it's literally, because it's not even about color. It's about the agenda. As long as it fills their agenda, as long as it feeds their agenda, they're ready to do anything. And remember, Nancy Pelosi couldn't even stand up by herself. She had to have somebody help her out. This is how disgraceful they are. And what you're about to see next, guys, I hope you got some popcorn, because you're about to get a dang show. I am so excited for this. We are finally seeing our boy, Byron Donalds, holding these people accountable. You're about to see a smackdown, guys. Check this out.
This is my third term on the Oversight Committee. We've been talking about illegal immigration and oversight the entire time. I remember we had a group of this committee that went down to the El Paso section of the border. This was back in February, March of 2021. And during that time period, we were at one of the holding centers, and there were these buses that were coming to the detention facility, and they were picking up 30 kids, 50 kids at random, walking out of the facility. And when I went over to question the bus driver that was transporting these kids, border agents told me, as a member of Congress, that you're not allowed to question the bus driver. And of course, people knowing me, I didn't take no for an answer, and I repeated the question. And I was told that this bus of children was leaving El Paso and going to San Diego. And so what was occurring under the Biden administration is that they were busing unaccompanied minors all across the United States for one reason and one reason only. And that was because they did not want the press to see the pictures of kids in cages. They did not want to see our borders being overrun. They wanted to disperse that problem all through the United States. That is the reckless history of illegal immigration under Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. Mayor Johnston of Denver, you lamented earlier that there were 10 to 11 buses coming per day to your city. Did you ever talk to Joe Biden about why this was happening to your community?
Thank you, Congressman. I both reached out to Governor Abbott from Texas. He didn't respond, and I did.
Why would you reach out to Governor Abbott of Texas when it is Joe Biden, the former commander-in-chief, that opened up our borders? Why didn't you talk to him?
Well, our buses directly were being sent from Governor Abbott in Texas, so that was why we reached out to say we're happy to collaborate on a coordinated entry system. We understand no one state or no one city should bear the entire brunt of this, but let's collaborate. But I did.
So I'm glad you said that, because that brings me to my next point. Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis, when they started moving illegal aliens out of their states who were bearing the brunt of what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were doing, and they've sent them to Denver, they sent them to Chicago, they sent them to New York, they sent them to Martha's Vineyard. The reason why they did that is because you four could hide behind the realities of illegal immigration on border towns all through our country and on cities and states who did not want to see illegal immigration, but did not have the political representation to go to the White House. And only when it showed up on your doorstep did you get upset. Mayor Johnston, coming back to you, how much did your city spend on illegal immigration? Do you have a round number?
Over the last couple of years on all newcomers, whatever their status was, it's around $79 million since 2022.
$79 million. Mayor Johnson, Chicago. How much has the city of Chicago spent on illegal immigration?
If you're referring to the 2022 up to 2024 of the buses coming from Texas, roughly the same percentage of the state of Texas, about 1% of our overall budget.
What is that? Because we don't have the city's budget in front of me. Numbers.
It's 1%, and if you want the actual calculation, we can make sure someone...
You're the mayor. You don't have the math in front of you?
It's 1% of the overall budget over the last 4 years.
That's why you're a failing mayor.
Which is
Mayor
the same
Adams.
number that
How much
was
did the
sent
city
from
of
us
New
from
York
the
actually
state
spend
of
on
Texas.
illegal immigration? Mayor Johnson, I already have...
Guys, if you're loving this, smash that like button. Click that thumbs up like button. Thank you so much for your support.
You don't have a hard number. And if you don't have a hard number, you're not running your city well. Mayor Adams, how much did the city of New York actually spend on illegal immigration?
$6.9 billion of taxpayers.
$6.9 billion of taxpayer money on a problem that was fostered on the American people. Mayor Wu, in the city of Boston, how much did you spend?
We don't ask about immigration status and delivering city
You don't
services,
ask
so
about
we
how
don't
much
have
money
that
the city
number.
of Boston has spent on illegal immigration?
We
Are you
don't
out of your
distinguish
mind?
between immigration status.
Do you
as
manage
part
your
of our
budget
city
or not,
policies.
Mayor Wu?
That is how we keep
Mayor
our city
Wu,
safe.
do you manage
we
your
have
budget or
the
not?
numbers to prove it. I manage my budget. I have a AAA bond rating dating back 10 years.
So to the city of Boston,
budget.
just understand that your mayor does not care how much of your resources she has spent on people who are not citizens
The city of Boston is sick of having people outside Boston telling us what
Mr.
we
Bear, I
need.
have a question for you because I understand Cato's perspective when it comes to illegal immigration.
Dang.
I understand that the Cato Institute for a long time has had a standard of actually having open immigration into the United States. Generally speaking, I don't want to get into specifics.
We support legal immigration. We want immigration to be legal.
So let me ask you this question, because one of the great libertarians of the modern era, Milton Friedman, famously said, you can either have open borders or a welfare state, but you have to choose. Mr. Beer, what do you choose?
Milton Friedman said he wanted to allow illegal immigration to continue. I disagree with Milton Friedman's position on that. We should have legal immigration and build a wall around the welfare state, not around the country. That's in the best interest of taxpayers.
And I would argue that under the current system where you have sanctuary cities popping up, it is not possible to build that wall. So America has to choose, Mr. Beer, you're done. America has to choose between securing our nation or protecting the taxpayer. I choose secure the nation. I yield back.
Gentlemen, you...
Guys, he said, you are done. You are done. Guys, that is just resonating all across. Guys, you know why? Because guess what? We had more testimonies come across in the Congress today. Because guess what? We have evidence now that the Biden admin CBP1 app was being used by cartels to literally make money on illegal immigrants. And guess what? All of this is being referred to the DOJ for possible prosecution. It needs to happen. We need to show these people you don't get away with this stuff. Listen to this.
Can you speak to how the Biden administration used technology to facilitate the invasion of illegal aliens into the country?
Yes, ma'am. For one, CBP One app, I believe, was definitely misused by the Biden administration to allow people to come in. And that was one technology that was developed out of something that it shouldn't have been used for.
Whoa,
I think it was
sorry,
a
guys.
go around Congress to allow people to enter the United States. And we've seen a lot of those cases that have entered on the CBP One app show up as criminal aliens, in the arrests that we've made.
How's the app used?
How is it used?
Yeah, how's it used to do that?
Well, what we've seen, especially the fraud from that, is that the cartels were actually using it down in Mexico and having people sign up through them to then get on the CBP One app and get around, being able to go through. So the cartels were actually making money off of the CBP One app.
That's insane. Dr. Gilman.
Yeah, I echo everything that my counterpart just said. I don't have as much experience with the CBP One app, particularly because my focus was with HSI and primarily on criminal investigations. But even within HSI, we saw the misuse of the CBP One app by those subjects that we did encounter, oftentimes subjects of criminal investigations.
The cartels using CB One app to get people into this country illegally. And we know this. We know this, and we allowed it to happen. Mr. Hanklinson?
In terms of numbers, that nothing is more extreme than CBP One. There was also the programs for specific countries, which obviously had to use technology to enroll people in the first place. There was a lot of diversion or there was some diversion of ICE money to programs like the case management pilot program and the young adult case management program, I think it was, that were essentially providing social services instead of enforcement operations. And I'm sure that had to be facilitated by the use of the technology that they had.
I'm certain that they did. Can you...
Guys, do y'all see this? Like, they 100% gamed the system. They 100% allowed the cartels to literally use our systems to game it, and they benefited from it. Why do you think they said there was a drug crisis? It was a immigration crisis. It was, every crisis that you can name, it all happened. And that's what breaks my heart, is that when we look at everything that did happen, it could have been prevented. It didn't have to happen. And what sucks is that so many people's lives were affected by it. Donald Trump came out and posted, Shalom Hamas means hello and goodbye. You can choose. Release all of the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all of the dead bodies of the people you murdered, or it's over for you. Only sick and twisted people keep bodies, and you are everything it needs. And I'm sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. Not a single Hamas member will be safe if you don't do as I say. I have just met with your former hostages whose lives you have destroyed. This is your last warning. For the leadership, now is the time to leave Gaza while you still have a chance. To the people of Gaza, a beautiful future awaits, but not if you hold hostages. If you do, you are dead. Make a smart decision. Release the hostages now, or they will be hell to pay later. That's how you speak as President of the United States. That's what it sounds like to have a commander-in-chief who says, you know what? It's either going to be my way or you're about to see what's coming. And that's what makes me mad, guys. But I love the winning that we're seeing, guys, because it's so big. Across the aisle, 60 to 70% of all viewers approved of the speech, of the policies that Donald Trump is doing. And if you love it, guys, smash that thumbs up like button. Thank you so much for your support. Check this out.
This is what America needed to hear, that there is somebody driving this country who doesn't hate everything about it, that the man at the helm has a plan, and we are back.
I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, Our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
Sometimes it's just really nice to be reassured that despite all the noise from the crazy left, that America is in fact on the right track. But the line of the night.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation, we must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Let's go. The line of the night.
That is the best part for me. And not only did the markets like it today, 76% of the country actually agreed. CBS, of all places, polled this. It really goes to show, though, the divide in this country. Apparently, 76% love the country and 24% still hate it. And 100% of Democrats in attendance last night apparently hate this country. Nothing showed that better. When Trump announced the extradition of the Abbey-gate attack terrorists, the people who killed Americans, and Democrats stay seated. Hey, seriously? You can't even clap for apprehending a terrorist that killed Americans? Who are you people? That they also in attendance, this poor kid who had brain cancer, like 13 surgeries, gets made an honorary Secret Service agent during the speech. Democrats are dead silent. Young black kid. I mean, reverse those roles for just a half a second. Can you imagine the cries from Democrats? They are so blinded by the hate for Trump. No Democrats could be bothered to stand for the Lake and Riley Act, silent, like pouty-faced little sourpusses. Trump recognized the woman injured by a man playing in a sport, a women's sport, when he smashed her in the face with a volleyball, giving her a brain injury. Nope, can't applaud that, Democrats. The same people that knelt down and eulogized a criminal, George Floyd. But that party, they don't applaud a kid with cancer. They can't applaud bagging a terrorist. They can't applaud a woman injured by a man. Are you kidding me? Who do you want running your country in 2 years? Not those folks. These are like 80-20 issues. And Democrats hate Trump more than they're willing to listen to America and do their job. Even, I can't believe I'm saying this, even Simone Sanders on MSNBC, one of the most radical leftists, said, this ain't gonna win them back the House for Democrats.
I don't know who thought up the bingo signs, but they should be fired.
Michael, this is an indictment, in my opinion, on the Democratic leadership. There is a palpable disgust, as Claire said, from not just the members, but their constituents. And it's like a pot, as someone described it to me, that's boiling, and it's about to bubble over. If you do not allow the members a space to release valve, it's going to bubble over. And this was the members didn't, the visuals are not taking back the House in 2026. Not these visuals.
Ooh. Wow, she's saying it. And this is why America is so divided. Most of these things should be universal, like a universal standing ovation, but no, not today's Democrats. In fact, Trump pointed this out.
There is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do.
Which is interesting because if my memory serves me correctly, lots of Democrats seem to clap for Bill Clinton, even Barack Obama, when they said the same thing.
And we should continue the work of fixing our broken immigration system to secure our borders and enforce our laws and ensure that everyone who plays by the rules can contribute to our economy and enrich our nations.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. To permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Things that make you say, huh? They wish we forgot about that one. Don't worry, we got you. Kind of reinforces Elon's whole point that he didn't leave the Democrat Party, they left him. It's like they've become this bunch of petulant little children with no maturity level. I saw this woman holding up a sign that says, Musk steals. Musk steals?
Steals what?
What do you call all this?
$22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is.
He went on for like another minute listing this stuff off. Things that Democrats had to sit through on national television and hear him list off that they are trying to defend. And you, Jayapal, supporting all that junk, you want to hold up a sign that says Musk steals. How about you name me one thing that Elon is stealing? Like, point to the line item. Seriously. He sends NASA's stuff up in the sky for 1/7 the cost it normally does. He's not stealing there. So what's he stealing? And what's worse, these people stand behind the speech and debate clause. When they make these allegations, they should be sued for slander on this.
Boom.
Stealing? You people, you Democrats want to talk about stealing? You shut down our jobs during COVID. You wouldn't let us work to provide for our families, but you guys keep getting a paycheck on the ever-increasing amount of money that you steal. You steal from my paycheck. You can get bent. And speaking of being sued, Nicole Wallace, she should be at the top of that lawsuit list too.
About DJ, and I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump's supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
That is so sickening.
What a despicable human being. I mean, do you have any idea what America thinks about you? I got a couple choice words that I can't say here.
That's how disgusting these people are getting, guys. They literally are dropping to such a low level. It is literally like there's no other word to say besides disgusting. I wanted to show you this, guys, because I'm telling you, there is stuff that has been happening to us, our families, our kids, you had no idea about, but it's now come to light. Elon Musk shuts down multiple U.S. government financial grants for transgender experiments on animals, including feminizing a male rat. Doreen Bryson, welcome to the family. Let's go. Y'all show Doreen some love in the chat. So the U.S. government had financial grants for transgender experiments on animals, including feminizing a male rat. You want to know how bad it's getting, guys? Why RFK is so important? Why our food is so important? Go look this up. Fact check me, because I've noticed it, and it doesn't get a lot of news. Have you noticed that with our men, lowest testosterone levels in history, in the amount of time we've ever been recording, men have the lowest testosterone levels? Maybe it has to do with our food. Have you noticed that our girls, our young women, their voices are deeper? For some reason, their tone is a lot lower. Fact check me, go look it up. On average, women's voices are getting deeper by 20 to 50 hertz in frequency. What is happening to us? Our men are becoming more feminine. Our women are becoming more masculine. Maybe it has to deal with the food and stuff that we eat. What have they been putting into our foods? What has happened to us with everything, going from vaccines to all of it, guys? Look at everything. Because I'll tell you this, I've noticed it. I've researched it, and you can go fact check me. A lot of stuff is changing with our kids. Why is it that 50 years ago, one in 10,000 or 100,000 was autistic, but now it's 1 in 36. It's not by coincidence, guys. They've been doing stuff to us. I'm still researching it, but we have been experimented on. We've been fed stuff that has been deteriorating who we are as our natural born bodies, for males, for females. And now look at this. Now you know that whenever they're doing any types of studies on rats have a lot of the same biomarkers and everything that related to humans. That's why they use rats. They were trying to feminize a male rat. For what? Why would you need to feminize a male rat unless you were planning or doing stuff to feminize male humans? It'd only be the logical reasoning. Fact check me, guys. It kills me when I hear, especially young ladies, voices are a lot deeper than they've ever been. It like sometimes I have to like, what? Lots of things are happening that we have never realized before, and you're hearing it here first. Donna D, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. She let herself. Guys, I'm telling you what, they need to be held accountable. Y'all show Donna D some love in the chat. But what I love too, guys, is what you're about to hear next, because this is called accountability. Check this out.
For America, these mayors are all sanctuary city mayors. But the narrative is no longer comfortable, because 3 months ago, we were at the tail end of 4 years of millions and millions of illegals coming into our country. It was out of control. The only thing that has happened since then is we had an election in November. And now we're not pulling the curtain back. We have ripped the curtain from the rods. We have revealed to America just how fast we could have secured our border if you had an executive that was willing to enforce the law. So now we're paying attention to our municipalities. And every one of them is lawyered up. They've changed their narrative. We got example after example. The mayor of Chicago, we must lead with and live by the promise of sanctuary city. The mayor of Denver, willing to go to jail in defense of sanctuary city policy. The list goes on. But the policies of these mayors and our previous president have consequences, real life consequences. I have a family here today, Mr. Chairman, who lost their beautiful loved one. This young man was killed by an illegal immigrant in Texas that never should have been in our country. He'll never be here to raise his daughter, Anne Marie, to love and cherish and honor and uphold his beautiful wife, Olivia. And you mayors have responsibility, not just to your communities and the citizens you just want to serve, but by extension to the entire republic. And let me clarify, I was a cop for a long time. To honor the jurisdictional authority of another law enforcement agency, you do it every day in your city. Guaranteed, every one of you, if you have an inmate in your city on city charges, and that inmate has a felony warrant from a neighboring county or another county in your state, and that county contacts your city while you have that inmate in detention, and ask you to hold them for them to come pick it up upon release, guaranteed you release that inmate to the county over or to your state police. But you're not doing it for ICE. And ICE is responsible to remove millions of criminal, hard-edged criminal illegals from our country. And we've had enough. America's fed up with this betrayal of oath, and you'll be held accountable. One of you said you're willing to go to jail. We might give you that opportunity.
Send them.
Good mayor. One of my colleagues mentioned the children. I always want to talk to the children. Separation of children. At any given time in America, there's 750 to 850,000 American citizen parents of minor children incarcerated in our country. If you commit a felony in America, you get arrested and prosecuted and convicted and incarcerated, you can expect to be separated from your children. But let me say, there's a sunset to that separation, because when you do your time, you'll be released. You can return to your family. This young man will never return to his family, and he should have never been removed from his family. If we had a president and heads of our municipalities that were willing to uphold the federal law that exists. America is moving into a new era of enforcement of our own laws. Welcome to it. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
And it's about dang time, guys. Because I'll tell you this, I'm fed up with it. I'm so fed up with people's lives that will never be the same because there was an illegal immigrant that committed a crime against their family, and that person should have never been here. It's sickening, guys. I want to show you this because I'm telling you, I'll bring the receipts. Elon Musk, I showed you this a while ago, shuts down multiple U.S. government financial grants for transgender experience on animals, including feminizing a male rat. So what we know is that there's a lot of people that they believe in, hey, they're trying to figure out how to transition and all this stuff. Why in the world would you want to feminize a male rat? We also know that things are happening with our daughters. What the heck is going on? I have a daughter. I have 2 daughters. Look at this. Are women's voices getting deeper? According to research, yes, women's voices are generally considered to be getting deeper over time. Scroll down. Researchers compared archival recordings of women talking in 1945 with the most recent recordings in 1990, and they had dropped by 23 hertz over 5 decades. What is happening to us? What is happening to our men? Lowest testosterone levels in history. What is happening to our women? Becoming more masculine. It's the food we eat. That's why RFK is so important. It's the vaccines that we take. Why do we have so many kids nowadays that are autistic? Guys, all this stuff has to be looked at because there's people behind the scenes with lots of money that are trying to control people and trying to make people a certain way. And that's why do you think they have these hormone blockers and all this stuff? We have to be careful, guys. We have to be careful where our federal taxpayer dollars goes. Because no matter what, there's always going to be corruptness, but we have to manage it as best as possible. Because even they'll pay dead people, guys. That's what our government is okay with doing. And it wasn't until Doge figured it out that we stopped. Listen to this.
Quickly, do you think we ought to be sending government checks to dead people?
No, Senator, I think that's poor management.
During the pandemic, we sent out $1.4 billion of checks to dead people, didn't we?
I don't have the figure, Senator, but I wouldn't be surprised by that. Given everything
and they were
that I
cashed, weren't they?
They generally get cash whether they're dead or not.
What does that tell you?
Somebody's alive.
Yep. Now, Senator Carper and I passed a bill. It took us 2 years. To try to stop that, when you die, the state sends your name to the Social Security Administration. Your name goes on what's called the Death Master File.
Yes, sir.
I went to Social Security and I said, can I see the list? They said, sure. I said, who do you share this with? They said, nobody. We can't. We don't have statutory authority. So you don't share it with the do not pay folks at Treasury? They said, nope. It's against the law. Well, rather than argue with them, Senator Carper and I passed a bill. But believe it or not, to say Social Security, share the dead people list with the rest of government, for God's sakes. Put down the bone and share it with them. And believe it or not, we had opposition. So we had to agree to a 3-year trial period. That 3-year trial, we've saved a bunch of money.
Yes, we have.
That 3-year trial period is up at the end of 2026. I've got another bill with Gary Peters to extend it, to make it permanent. You guys got any problem with that?
Well, Senator, I cannot speak for the president or for Director Vogt.
Oh, go ahead.
But I can't. It's hard for me to imagine who would be opposed.
Well, you'd be surprised.
You see that, guys? That you literally had Democrats who were opposed to sharing the dead people's list on Social Security with other government agencies. Why? Why? Because there's corruptness. They want to preserve the corruptness. There's no other reason. Clean the tables. Clean the people on food stamps or anybody who's passed. Clean the people on Medicare that's passed. If they're not alive, they shouldn't be getting any benefits. Common sense, right? Not for Democrats. They don't know how to. I'm telling you what, they're so far gone, guys. They're going to be eliminated in the next 2 elections. A new party will be formed. I feel it, guys. I feel it. I want to say thank you to everybody who subscribed, guys. To everybody watching, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Guys, if you don't mind clicking that thumbs up like button, guys, I've enjoyed this show so much. Trump is winning. America is winning. Everybody's going to win with America First policies. I love it. If you want to be a member, guys, the link is in the description to join. And don't forget our new channel. The link is in the description to go join and subscribe to that with short form content. And guys, there's not enough hours in the day. We're trying to do a lot. We're going to try to launch our t-shirts tonight, but we just didn't get stuff done for the website. We're shooting for tomorrow night to launch our Real American True Life News t-shirts. I'm so excited, guys, because they're such good quality. I love it. But I want to give some love to all of our members, to everybody that's given a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Doreen Bryson. Thank you so much, Virginia Friday, The British Perspective, who said, when a boy's dream is realized after surviving cancer and disrespected by so-called adults on the left, no explanation after that is required. They're not adults. Donna D, y'all show them some love in the chat, guys. Remember, we're here to serve you every day with the top news. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.